Greetings and salutations. Sorry about that. I was just still struggling to set up a little bit. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm just sending out a couple of quick... Doobly what's it? Sorry. I got distracted right up until, showtime, and even then it was like, yeah, I gotta go. I'd already hit the showtime button, and I think I've got everything. Let me just double check. Yeah, I've sent one to Facebook, and where is Twitter? Twitter. Did I close? Oh no, there's Twitter. Did I send? I hate Twitter because it's not very easy to see whether you've sent out a tweet recently. Tweets and replies. Yes, I've sent one out 6 minutes ago. Okay, great stuff. Right, let's close it. That doesn't need to be open anymore. That doesn't need to be open. Welcome to Pathfinder Kingmaker. There we go. I was about to say Pathfinder Society. This is not Pathfinder Society. Let's move the camera slightly more to the middle of the screen, where it belongs. Pathfinder Kingmaker session 55. That does mean that that's 55 of these sessions. Oh, I'm getting coronated right now. That's what I was doing. I was all like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm just about to go off and get coronated. No, let's leave that one open. Okay, so welcome anybody who's already here. I look over there because that's where my laptop is, and then I realize that you can't hear me. You can hear me, but you can't hear me quite as clearly when I'm talking away from the mic. It all feeds back into the headphones, you see. Anyway, so I am going to push this button. I'm going to close up the background music, and we're going to switch over to here. There we go. So, continue. But yes, I've forsaken the Sutrovers. I've forsaken the Aldore. I did try to make amends with Aldore, but they were like, now that you didn't bother turning up in time to help with the battle. See, part of me wants to go get rested up, but I know that as soon as I step through these doors, it's coronation time. So I should probably go get that done. I am going to, however, dump these things off. I got these lizard skins. There's 50 pounds of them. The lizard folk skins, which are not great. Rune covered. See, there's ancient scraps of script covered leather, and then there's rune covered ancient scraps of leather scraps. Is this sorted? Okay, so I've only got 2 of those. I think I need more of those. Oop, shoot. Well, I hope that key wasn't important. Piece of sky metal. Sky metal cogwheels. Kelly oh, they might actually be sellable. Just straight up sellable. Let's go talk to the whatchamacallit storyteller. Oh, hello. Not all artifacts wish to reveal the truths about themselves, but I will do my best. Let me touch it. Give Ornbane to the storyteller. The moment he touches the Ornbane's hilt, the storyteller bares his teeth with a wicked grin. Gorham, he shouts at the top of his lungs. Watch me, my lord of iron. All this blood, all these severed heads, all these broken weapons and pieces of armor, I throw them all at your feet. Amrag the Invincible, best amongst your fighters. You led me from one victory to another, and not once have I failed you. The glory of the Tiger Lords glowed over the lands like the light of a raging bonfire. It rose to the sky like the smoke of the cities we raised. None can match us. In your presence, my lord, no one could defeat us. Not people, not monsters, not the gods themselves. Our glory was so great that even Pharasma herself grew jealous. Oh, how she wished to bend us, break our pride, show us no one is beyond death but you, oh Gorham. You've fought her in the skies just as we destroyed her emissaries on the land. Galarian hasn't seen such a battle since the gods fought Rovagug. And we shamed her, my lord. Oh, yes. As my soul was about to depart my body, you snatched it from Pharasma's pale fingers, sealing it in this sacred sword, so I might shed blood in your glory forever. My war will never end as long as this world stands. Blood. Blood for Gorham. The elf jerks his hand away from the sword, and heavy silence fills the air. Well, that was quite a curious experience, he eventually manages. Thank you for your help. I brought some relics or any worthy of the story. Oh yeah, Dryad tokens, Khalid tribal fetishes, they've all been sold. Okay, that's the one that I was mainly thinking. These are the creation of those who knew how to speak to the animals and can hear their stories. We, though proud of our so-called civilization, have become deaf to this language, and only objects such as these can bring its echoes to us. If you don't mind, I will gladly buy this from you. How much money does this guy have? Blind darkness underground, bronze blades clashing, the cold blood of serpent folk and the hot blood of cyclopses mingle on a stone floor. And something else. Fear, desperation, agonizing shame. I cannot yet tell you what happened there, underground. But if you collect all 5 pieces, I will be able to tell you a story of their owner. The wind howls over the wastelands of Glenibon. The flames of bonfires dance to the rhythmic music of barbarian tribes. Thousands of years ago, these belonged to the guardians of the great chieftain's tomb, yet the same tomb that had been forsaken until recently. Are you interested in why the guardians abandoned their posts? Bring me the rest of the 5 pieces, and I shall ask them. I will leave you to your legends till we meet again. See, I have no idea what he just tried to snag on. I'm guessing the ancient Khalid stuff. And the Fallen Warriors stuff. Again, 2 where it's like, I got 3 of the 5, but don't know where the other 5 are going to be. I think I might have skipped over that one. But he's such a bane. Let's go get coronated. It's a quiet night tonight.
What took you so long? Everybody has been waiting for you. Hurry up!
Lindsay, almost jumping in excitement, clutches in her hands a scroll covered with solemn oaths.
I've searched all the books, but I couldn't find anything that resembled a coronation protocol for the Stolen Lands. So, I took the liberty of penning the program myself. Don't worry, I did the very best I could.
She proudly demonstrates a parchment scroll covered with scribbles. Lindsay clears her throat and turns to the crowd.
Citizens of the kingdom, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great excitement and indescribable awe that I, Lindsay, official chronicler of the hero who stands beside me, hereby declare the beginning of a sacred ceremony, the coronation of the first legitimate ruler in the history of the Stolen Lands. By the power of the representatives of the other royal houses who recognize him as their equal, and according to the will of the people who accepted him, he now ascends the throne, which has been waiting empty for so long, for such a worthy ruler. My fellow citizens, I hereby introduce your king and your undisputed leader. Now he stands before you, ready to accept your will. Everyone who has gathered here, are you ready to swear fealty to your new ruler?
Sounds a bit cultish. Anyway.
Erastiel, save the king! Hail to the king!
We pledge our loyalty.
Long live the king!
Yeah, sure. How much longer are you gonna wag your tongues? It's time we start feasting in the chieftain's name.
I'm not subject to anyone, so I cannot swear fealty. But I have nothing to say against a king such as this.
So it is decided. And now, it's your turn, your highness. Into your hands we commend our lives, and humbly request you address the fate that awaits for us under your rule. Please now answer. How do you intend to rule this land and its people? With benevolence and care for those who suffer, or with strength and severity for the unworthy?
I would destroy the unworthy as those who are suffering. Let them solve their own problems. No, I won't say that, but God, this would be a hell of a turning point to just be suddenly evil. All who abide by my laws may rely on my mercy.
Will you honor the old ways and traditions, which spread through these lands long before your time? And will you abide its laws, which all accept?
I will abide the laws which benefit my subjects and my lands.
And finally, what will be the motto under which you shall rule? Proclaim it now for us to witness, and we shall etch this solemn moment into our hearts.
Honor and law, although I'm curious as to what the others say. Hope will prevail, mercy before law, oath is sacred, truth in temperance, freedom above all, life is fleeting but law is forever, the king's will are the way, death to dissent, honor and law.
Well now, esteemed gentlemen, fair ladies, the ceremony is complete. And now, the long-awaited moment has arrived. Let us bow together and witness this solemn moment. The crown. Speech, Your Highness. According to tradition, we need a speech.
Fine, I shall speak.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Highness wishes to give a speech.
See, these are all one step away from where I want them to be. You step forward, countless faces in the crowd, just so noisy just moments ago, now become still, their eyes all fall upon you. My good subjects, my only dream is to deliver peace and safety to those who have put their trust in me, something you have so desperately needed for so long. My loyal subjects, today is the day when law finally comes to the Stolen Lands. A few words. Your words flow as a river, sincere, benevolent, and warm. The faces in the crowd light up, as if a timid sunray peeked out from behind the clouds. One onlooker, then another, wipes her eyes with a stealthy gesture, as others smile and nod with manful dignity. I believe with all my heart that justice and prosperity are rooted in law. I swear before you this day, I shall rule in accordance with the traditions and laws that serve what is good and right. Several people glance at you grimly and turn away in haste, trying to fade into a crowd. Most exchange quick looks and nod at each other, their faces solemn and sedate.
My goodness, Your Highness. I always knew you were a man of many talents, but your gift of eloquence is without equal. The king has spoken! Hail to the king!
Hail to the king.
Hail to the king!
Let His Highness's name be praised throughout the century.
Hail to the generous king! Long live the king!
That's right. Every word you said was perfect. With a ruler like this, the future of the Stolen Lands is looking bright.
What passion! What intensity! Indeed, the Rushlight tournament would be incomplete without your participation.
Listen to me. By His Highness's declaration, the celebration has begun! We've heard enough speeches. Now, let us enjoy the feast and raise a toast to the health of our king. This was a true triumph. Forget some simple barony. Our ruler now wore the crown of a monarch. The time had come for royal feats and equally royal dangers.
The game lied to me. It's not just Pathfinder Kingmaker, it's Pathfinder Kingmaker and then screw you over some more while you rule it. I didn't think that would be the end, but, you know, it was one of them where it's like, is this going to end? What am I supposed to do now? I mean, there is other things that I do need to be taking care of at some point. I think I've sold everything. I need to go. I just realized I'm wearing a crown now. This royal headdress grants the wearer a +6 enhancement bonus to charisma, intelligence, and wisdom, and a +2 resistance bonus to saving throws against the effects of against compulsion effects. Yet the stag helm used to give me, you know, +1 insight bonus to attack rolls against flat-footed and flank targets, and it's like, that was kind of useful, seeing as though, you know, most of my attacks are against flat-footed and flanked. But at the same token, it doesn't feel right to be taking the crown off my head and maybe, say, putting it on Tristan, who's not got much in the way of bonus stats because of the phylactery. Or maybe putting it on Lindsay, who is still ability drained. Who's only currently got a +4 bonus to charisma. Or maybe we can actually make, you know, Amory intelligent and wise. Or just Octavia more intelligent, wise, and charismatic. I don't really know. Solly is pretty much wasted on me. A couple of questions. 1, can I remove it? Yes, I can. 2, can I put it on somebody else? Yes, I could. Look at those stats. +9 to intelligence. See, I could go back to wearing this and just be happy with it. But at the same token, it's like, I think it would have been nicer to be able to customize the crown a little bit. You know, I appreciate that there's no item customization in Pathfinder Kingmaker, but it's like, that very much does benefit, you know, a spellcaster of some variety. Or most varieties of spellcaster, I should say. But it provides very little benefit to me. You know, and if it had just been ones of strength rather than intelligence, you know, well, the stats of the body, that would have been much better for me. Still look like a bandit king, though. Look at me. Them big, thick, heavy boots. And the Reaper's vest. Ah well. I shall wear the crown. I just noticed something that's I get bonuses if the enemy is shaken. These don't give bonuses to being shaken. Should really be using the bewildering injury though. The target becomes bewildered, taking a -2 penalty to AC. The target takes an additional -2 penalty to all attacks made by the rogue. At levels 10, 16, the penalty is increased by 2 to a maximum of -8. That might help me somewhat. Right, time to go take a nap. Sounds like a plan. Do. There we go. There's my bedroom. And a rest. See what terrible things occur in the morning. Hey, terrible things aren't occurring. What do you know? Loyalty, relations, and culture is up. Enhanced trade with new settlement. Our alliance with the house allows us to conduct trade with new settlement on favourable terms. Increase each settlement's income by 1 when trading with Sutova. Ah. That makes it interesting. See, that would increase. So if I went through this agreement at the moment, it will be 9 BP per week. But if I was to get the trade agreement on top, it'd be 16 BP per week. Still not great. One of the things that I'm looking at here is like, you know, I'm assuming that I can get maybe a city, maybe 3 towns, maybe 4, and, you know, 4 villages. So let's say 1, 3, and 4. That would bring me in a fair amount of BP, but at the same token, offsetting it against how much it costs per week. Depends on how effective it will be. So 5, 6, 11. 11 plus 4 is 15. So 15 BP, it would take 100 weeks for this to pay off. By increasing it by 1, it doesn't quite trim it down to 50 weeks, but it does bring it a lot closer to. But, you know, that's only if that's in... And that's with spending another 650 BP, which is fairly expensive. What else do we have? We have got strategic partnerships with Brevoy. Now that the kingdom is strong and prosperous, we can discuss strategic partners with Brevoy. Increases economy and relations by 7 and provides 1 BP per week for each relation rank above 6. Okay. So I need to get relations up to at least 6 before that starts giving me much. So that actually gives me an indication that my kingdom is so far behind where it's supposed to be. It's like 6, and the highest thing that I've got is an economy of 5. And border guards. Reinforce your border with special perimeter guard unit. +1 military instability for each region along the Brethren border that has a garrison or fort. +2 if it has both. I mean, I think the first thing that I want to do is claim the other regions. And for that, I need BP. I've done that right? Yeah, I did the math right. How fast are everything going to resolve? Is that support? Yeah. Economy. Do I want to get this sorted? I think I do as well. So let's purchase another 150 BP. Oops. Trader. I was reading something. Oh, that's something if anybody is new to the stream and hasn't actually played the game. I'm currently playing the game on Steam, and Steam's having a sale on at the moment. You can pick up the base game for 10 UK pounds, which is possibly somewhere in the region of like $15, depending on conversion rate and the like. And the DLCs are also on sale. You can probably pick up basically everything per Pathfinder Kingmaker for about £20, $25, somewhere of that region. It's given me, you know, so like 55 multiplied by 3, 150 plus 15, 165 hours minus 10, 155 hours of gameplay so far. So, you know, if you're paying like £25 for everything, that's impressive. It's a fairly decent return, fairly good value. You know, you go out and you buy some video games, and there's Take-Two Interactive, who are the publishers behind most of Rockstar and a couple of other studios, are saying that the market is just about ready for games costing 70 quid or more. And I just find that absolutely ridiculous. I'll admit I've paid 50 quid. I've probably paid about 50 quid for 2, maybe 3 games so far in my life. I'm personally not ready for them to jump it up another 20 quid. But anyway, enough about that. Border guards. I've already set that going. So, regions. Claiming all marches with Octavia. And a go. Just looking at this map. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And maybe a little one in the middle there? I don't think. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 for Glenabon that I've not yet claimed. Are we going to be taking over Patax? I'm just looking, you know, I'm using visual clues as to say all the regions that you can take over have this outline. And when you hover over it, it's got a name. Outside of the regions up there, nope, nothing. You can see there it says Numeria. Or I can see. Oh, yeah, my face is covering it. Just underneath, about where my chin is, there's a label that says Numeria. But when I hover over that area, nothing lights up. So, judging by the UI, it's like, these are all areas that I can claim. With 1,000 voices, Patax, Tours of Lebanese, and Dunswood. I like the way that it's sort of like overlap things, but yeah, it's sort of like, that's interesting to know. Gives me a bit of a clue as to where the story's gonna go, but at the same token, don't know how we're gonna get there. The walls have ears. Failure. The agent, the advisor's agents were dispatched to Daggermark, but couldn't root out the spy. Palace secrets continued to leak across our borders and into neighbouring countries. Many of our intelligence agents had to be hastily withdrawn from assignment. Their work wasted. Unfortunately, several of our spies have not reported in and may have been captured or killed. Success! The advisor arrived just in time. The settlement is being rebuilt after an awful fire. Failure! The reagent failed to convince citizens of this absurdity of the rumour. Oh, apparently I'm a lycanthrope. Right, so many more problems to deal with. Which one's this, and why can't we deal with it? Oh, I'm guessing that's... I didn't mean to hit that button. Yeah. Well, I suppose I should deal with these. Your Grace, there is one small matter, a series of small matters actually, that's growing into a larger problem. Your goblin ally seems to have invited more of his tribe to the capital, and they're acting as if this is their home. It seems your goblin friend and his allies have been industrious in their latest blasphemy. They are erecting statues to Lameshtu, the mother of beasts, right outside the capital. It's heresy, and it's spreading fear and panic among the people. Could you please look into the matter? The guards are hesitant to deal with one close to you personally. Cowards. Greetings, Your Highness. By tradition, if a worthy ruler is patron to a master, the master gives generously in return. I have come to honor this tradition. Please accept its dragon scale plate. Thank you for your gift. I keep on adjusting this chair depending on whether I'm in work or not, and it's... Ooh, crumbs. There we go. It's a little more relaxed. Yes, there we go. Okay. Alright, do I actually need to go out and deal with these goblins, or do I deal with it from here? Right, go to the events. Right, extortionist guards. You'll be dealing with that. Red light. Brothel opened up under the protection of Callistra's temple in the region. It has more and more customers by the day. Estrel's followers are enraged. These despicable fallen women are destroying families. I mean, I don't think so personally, but okay. Rivers of Gold. Eureka! An outstanding local mage made an important magical discovery. He's going to Absalom to present his research to foreign colleagues. There's no doubt that this will enjoy glory and wealth there. But if he could be persuaded to stay and work for the crown, his research could advance the knowledge of local magicians. Right, so that's that. And the economy, the restoration of Silver Shield Fortress. What's this going to go? Military stability. And then it will have a fortress. Strengthen the storyteller. Might have some benefits. I think I placed him on the ranking up. But if we send him off for training... See, I was hoping to find somebody who wasn't actually going to be busy. Valerie won't be busy. So Octavia, you go back to doing this. These are all terrible choices. I don't like my probability here, but there's not much I can do about them at the moment. And I have no advisors for that position, whatever that position may be. Right, so let's just check this journal. Knock knock on the Great Mother. First things first, the king should tell the culprit, I mean knock knock, to try and reason with the unreasonable goblin. I mean Lamashtu shrines right at our gates. What is it? What's he thinking? On second thought, I probably don't want to know. Rightio. Let's go deal with the knock knock problem. Where is knock knock? Is knock knock in the throne room? Jubilee Oscar, remember. Tiger, Valerie, Tristan, Lindsay, Alondi. Who the hell is Alondi? I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to ignore them. I am king after all. I don't have to answer to everyone. Knock knock is outside. I've just remembered where he is. Bottom right hand corner of the map. Of the main square. Bottom left hand corner of the map. You'd think by my age I'd know the difference between left and right, but pff, it fails me. Just thinking back to the beginning of this, where it's like I got coronated, and it's like it kind of felt that potentially that could be the end of the game. And at that moment, it was like, maybe I should replay this and choose a different route and see how it goes. But one of the things that always raises the question is like, what class and style to play? You know, this has been very rogue master. Lawful good. That's just sort of like, that's the two choices that I made at character creation. But does anybody out there have any thoughts? I think I'd like to give this a try as a spellcaster and potentially give it a try as somebody who's more morally grey. I don't think I'm yet prepared for a full-blown sort of like evil campaign. I don't think it would get too evil. I think it would just influence certain matters. One of Knock Knock's ears perks up as you approach. He affixes you with a single eye and waits. I heard your tribe is building shrines to Lamashtu near the capital. Yes. Be praised, O Mother of Beasts. You want to pay respects to her? I will show you. Bring them down now. What? No shrines? No, shrine sacred. You see when you come. I guess I have no choice to visit those shrines. You like it, promise. I haven't heard much about your goblins since the trading post. Where are they? Hiding, sneaking. Goblins good at hiding and sneaking. You will hear from us soon. Not to worry. I should go. Because apparently we need to visit the clearing just outside the capital. And I'll need to take Knock Knock. I also want to take everybody who's got some drain damage. So, Amory can be benched for the moment. Battery is dead on the vape. There we go. Doop 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 doop. Goblin clearing. This journey will take 8 hours. Okay. Wait, is that the goblin clearing? Is there no zooming in and out on this? This is the goblin clearing. There we go. Nameplate's getting in my way. You can set a development path for each region, turn it into a religious center. This decision is significant for a region's life. Alright, let's do this quickly. It's just a knife master, so I know roughly what I want to do with it. For I am a knife master. Hammer the gap. And there we go. Successfully leveled up. And that is greater restoration. So we'll use greater restoration on Lindsay. She's got multiple drains and damages. And we'll just use a normal restoration on Octavia. I do believe that is everybody now fit and well. Knock Knock half stumbles in clanking and rattling from a number of fetishes adorning his body. Teeth, pebbles, so much so that he looks like a filthy bead curtain. You have no idea when he was able to dress up like this. He stops before you, his back straight, and does his best to look down upon you. But the effects ends up being something of a mess. Before you speak, Knock Knock addresses you, drawing out his words like proclamations. You have been summoned, Chiron. The mother of beasts speaks. He raises his arms in a flourish. Through me! Oh, sorry. I did not give you leave to construct these shrines in my capital. But yes, we built the many shrines to worship the mother. One sign of great goblin hero to earn her favor. She not welcome here? No, not welcome here. Either destroy these shrines now or spend the rest of your days in my prison. The first reasonable worlds in all this circus. But I just wanted to be a hero. Knock gives you a faint nod and then trundles off, his costume trailing behind him and leaving small bits on the ground as he moves. And we are done. It's one of them where it's like, it's a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have seen where that went. But it's one of them where it's like, I refuse to... This whole playthrough of being lawful good and strictly lawful good has done, you know, it's like, it's been painful in positions. Ekundeo is probably the worst one where I had to do that. I think the only time that I've not chosen the lawful good is when Tristan was at stake. Because it's one of them, Tristan is so useful to the party. Especially when you're being lawful good. So it was like, I can't afford to let him go, as it were. I suppose I could have done and taken Harim if I really wanted, but I just don't like that dwarf. So, yeah, it's one of them where it's like, probably should have stuck to the lawful good, but it'll keep. Right, everybody's doing something apart from Valerie, who can rank up community to 3. I have no... Oh, that's the other thing I'm supposed to be doing. It's not ranking up, it's claiming this place. Oh, they're both busy. Right. Let's rank up community. Success! Community reached rank 4. Thanks to the reagent and the king, quality of life in the kingdoms has reached new heights. Clashing of fanatics. Disaster. All the councillors' attempts to settle the argument failed, and the priests of both gods become angry with the ruler, along with the advisors. Oof. Success! The advisor's servants came to an agreement with the mage. His discovery now belongs to local mages, and they're studying it with great interest. Failure to deal with an intruder. River of Gold. Success! Loyalty is down, but everything else is up. Success! Relations is up. Extortionist guards. Triumphant. An ancient curse is upon us. It's our final chance to prepare. Oh God, Hell Knights. What do they want? General request an audience. Lindsay wants to talk. River Tricksters. And hunting season. The Order of the Rack welcomes you, King. My name is Linaxia. I come from a distant land of Cheliax in search of a dangerous criminal who is hiding in your barony. The black-skinned woman bowed slightly, bows her carefully shaved head. She stands tall and almost motionless. The reflected torchlight dances on the surface of her polished black armor and in the depths of her watchful black eyes. I am glad that we have met. I believe the rule of law in your kingdom is not just empty phrases. I hope for your cooperation. I hope for the cooperation of your subjects and you personally. Contrary to her words, Leax's face does not express any gladness. The corner of the mouth twitches slightly, betraying carefully concealed discontent. Who is this fugitive you're looking for? A dangerous pirate, murderer, and rebel named Darwin, the Dashing of Fairwood. Darwin, the Dashing Fairwood. He was found guilty of inciting a rebellion and murdering a noble lord in Cheliax. The law of my order is unwavering. The punishment for such crimes is death. Darwin's rebellion took place in Cheliax 3 years ago. The Order of the Rack quickly suppressed it. The participants were jailed and the instigators quartered. But their leader, Darwin, managed to escape. I have followed his trail for a long time, and now it has led me here. Can I help you with your investigation? A shadow of a smile crosses Leaxia's face. I and my knights are perfectly capable of finding and eliminating one criminal. Your help is unnecessary. If you want to help, do not interfere. Tell me about the Order of the Rack. We are the Hell Knights. We guard law and order. Legitimate authorities can rely on us entirely. Criminals tremble when they hear our footsteps. The Order of the Rack is the union of the Knights of Cheliax, led in the hatred of idleness, worthless philosophy, and useless knowledge. Indulgence leads to lawlessness and insurrection. We seek out any manifestations of dissent and burn them, be they books, scientific treatises, or those who create them. It is in your best interest to maintain friendly relations with us. Trust me, King. I really don't want to piss these guys off because I know what the Order of the Hell Knights can be like. But that's... I think I'll remain silent. See, that's 2 steps away. That's 2 steps away. Your actions in Cheliax do not concern me, but while you're on my lands, I demand you refrain from such extreme measures. I mean, I would prefer if it said lawful at the start of that. Because I am king, my word is law. If I say anything, technically it's a lawful action. This is where things... It's one of the inherent problems with the alignment axes. Is that, like, they're only taking into consideration a very narrow viewpoint of the world. The name makes me think they are a group of torturers. They are not torturers per se. The Hell Knights are actually... Did it give me a... Yeah, Hell Knights. The Hell Knights are a collection of knightly orders with the unique focus on promulgation of law. They are interested less in the social goodness and charity typical of paladins, but rather in the foundation and stringent maintenance of order at all costs. If people cannot be trusted to obey the law out of their own sense of civility and social righteousness, Hell Knights provide the need to obey out of fear of the Master's stern hand. Oh, the Order of the Rack. Okay, I don't know much about the Order of the Rack. Oh, here we go. The Order of the Rack is a Hell Knight order founded in 4638 AR. It was one of several new or re-established orders created in the aftermath of the disbanding of various Hell Knight orders previously charged with the defense of Cheliax's frontiers. The order has a reputation for raiding the homes of those who speak out against status quo, and for breaking up groups of malcontents before they become guilds, unions, or revolutionaries. They are focused They are the enemies of foreign ideals and innovation. Art and technology are viewed as wasteful and dangerous, especially when they meet in union. The rack is not related to the torture, I believe. One of the things about Hell Knights is they will form demonic pacts, or devilish pacts, sorry, not demonic pacts, devilish pacts, to forward. Yeah, I got my crown. Can we? We can't zoom over there, but you can just see the top of my head there. Yeah, everybody's late to the party today. It's like, I've been coronated and everything, and did you all forget that it was 8 o'clock that I start today? That's something that I nearly did. But yeah, I got my crown. So yeah, the Order of the Hell Knights are a really interesting faction. Oh, you did, but you was making fajitas. Fair enough. Were they good fajitas at least? There's Order of the Rack. I've heard of the Order of the Nail. I don't know much about them, all other than their lawful evil in alignment, because they uphold law above all else, which is one of them where it's like, I'm not sure if I agree with the alignment system in some cases. It's all like, they're the pinnacle of lawful evil, and potentially torture is not out of their wheelhouse. I think to a certain degree Paizo have tried to avoid, in a lot of cases, for the sake of common sensibilities. And don't get me wrong, I agree with them on this. It's like, you know, if they started going into the amount of detail that Paizo does go into different torture techniques that the Order of the Rack choose to use, then I would be like, maybe I don't want to play this game anymore. I know that they've touched on it in some of their adventure paths, but when it's an adventure path, when you're running with a GM, the GM can change the tone of the adventure path by allowing or disallowing certain actions of the players, and also, you know, just the phrasing of things. It's like, you find a torture room. You assume that people were tortured here, or by going into a torture room and having flashbacks and memory echoes of people who have been tortured there and the acts that have taken place there. It sets two very different tones, and, you know, depending on the group, depends on which tone the GM may want to choose. The fact that this is a video game and nobody gets to choose other than, you know, whether you play the game or not. So yeah, torture could be in their wheelhouse. I wouldn't put it past the Hell Knight orders. The question is, I think I remain silent. I don't like the fact that, because one of the things, going back to the alignment and how narrow it is, it's like, any of these statements now that I am, maybe they love neatly collected wine. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's their wheelhouse. There is potential that it's just they're really into their racks of ribs, but you know, when it gives me option 3, lawful evil, I share your opinion entirely. I am not entirely sure that they're a bunch of happy campers. But going back to the alignment before I get distracted by anything else, I'm going to ignore chat now. For a moment, is, you know, I am the king of this place. Therefore, anything that I say, you know, it's like, catching criminals is one thing, but burning books is too much, is not a chaotic good statement. It's a lawful good statement. Why? Because I, the ruler of this place, declare that burning books should not be a thing. Therefore, if I declare that and they go off and burn a book, then they're breaking the law, which makes them not lawful, which kind of goes against the whole wheelhouse. Now, I appreciate that everybody's, within my kingdom at least, but that's the thing, it's like, at what point does alignment actually become a useless ideology, especially when, if you take a barbarian and make a lawful good barbarian, they might be not lawful to the rulers of a land, but be lawful to the rules of nature and their own personal tribes and mentalities. How does a lawful good barbarian interact with a lawful good paladin of Abadar, for example, where it's all about civilization and the setting up of, temples and churches and cities and mass expansion into wilderness? They come at a bit of a... they should be enemies by the different ethoses, but at the same token, by the alignment, it should be that they can work well together. It's long been debated whether it's a good idea or not. This is a rare occasion where lawful really is whatever you say it is. At least within your kingdom. Would the chaotic description suggest their definition of criminal might not match that of a lawful character? Yeah, I mean, that's basically the definition of chaotic versus lawful characters. It's all like a lawful character has some belief in some stricture, whereas a chaotic character doesn't believe in law and order, but at the same token, I find that tends to be, again, their own moral compass laws. So, for example, a chaotic good action is stealing a loaf of bread to feed a starving family. It's not lawful because it's, the law of the land that you don't steal from merchants or bakers who provide bread. But at the same token, it can very easily be twisted into, chaotic. They're being chaotic because they're just taking the bread and stealing it and giving it to a family. But it's a good action because, it's a nice thing to feed a starving family. But at the same token, as an individual who believes that nobody should be left to starve, it is your personal opinion and law into yourself that you don't, any measures should be taken to make sure that nobody starves. If I then become king, which I have done, then it even starts getting more wibbly, where it's like, you can steal from merchants to feed the poor because I lawfully allow it. But then the chaotic becomes a law and everything just starts getting messed up. It doesn't often come up. It used to come up a lot more when things were restricted. I don't know if they... I think they are in Pathfinder. They're not in D&D 5th edition anymore. But one of the things is you could only be a lawful good paladin. Or, no, I think you had to be lawful. I don't think that's the case anymore. He says, looking it up. Paladin. P. Yeah, I've gone past it. I always think that's a druidic symbol, and it's not. It's Oath of the Ancients. Yeah, there's... You take up an oath, but the oath can, in theory, be that of a evil entity. Any guardians as guardians against the force of wickedness, paladins are rarely any evil alignment. Most of them walk the paths of charity and justice. Your oath and alignment might be in harmony, or your oath might represent standards of behavior you've not yet attained. Do you have to break the law to be chaotic, or does it, if not, and if not, does that not by extension mean lawful characters can be chaotic from time to time? I.e. the loaf of bread for the starving street urgent. This is where it starts getting even more do you have to break the law to be chaotic? If not, see, it's not the feeding of the starving street urchin. Okay, I mean option 1 is classified as chaotic rather than lawful, as the ordered definition is maybe not that of a lawful character. I think the reaction here is based off their concerns of legality and chaotic, and to a certain degree, you know, I'm opposing their law, and that is what is making that action chaotic. In my case, in the case of a starving street urchin, J-Station, how do you propose to feed the starving street urchin if not by stealing a loaf of bread? I mean, option 1 is classified as chaotic rather than lawful, as the order's definition is maybe not that of a lawful character. I mean, it is one of the things where it's like many people have questioned, you know, the whole alignment thing especially became a problem in 3rd edition D&D, where it's all like you would go to a town or a civilization where slavery is legal, for example. And therefore, as a paladin, a lawful good paladin, breaking up a slave trade in a city that it is legally allowed starts to raise questions as to about whether you then become a fallen paladin because you are no longer of a lawful alignment. And, you know, it's very much like I consider that slavery is illegal. Therefore, I am doing what I can to disrupt it. Yes, but the laws of where you are state that it's perfectly legal, and therefore you're being chaotic for doing it. And this is where, you know, the great debates of ages have raged on for, in terms of, you know, it probably has destroyed some tabletop groups where it's just like the GM and the player couldn't come to an agreement of sorts. Yeah, buying the bread, usually that wouldn't make you chaotic because you're legally purchasing the bread. The throw a bit of persuasion around is more likely to be a neutral stance, where it's like you're not robbing the merchant, but you're certainly persuading them to do so. And chaotic, you don't have to steal the bread. You could threaten and intimidate the bakery. It's like, if you don't feed this family, I will rough you up. That then becomes chaotic because you're breaking a different law. I was asked the question because it's usually the more a big deal that a lawful good does something chaotic, and very rarely brought up as a big deal if a chaotic good does something lawful. I think to a certain degree, this also, this generally wraps around when if alignment matters. And it's one of them things where it's like, in a lot of D&D, alignment doesn't really make any difference. You can write your alignment on your character sheet and then ignore it. And then the GM, if they so desire, might choose to say, no, you've taken steps towards being neutral, towards being evil, and ask you to adjust your alignment accordingly. The only times that really makes a difference is if the GM makes it make a difference. For example, you can pick up a holy sword, but it only reacts to lawfully good people. You take your paladin, for example, who does something chaotic to free the slaves and steal the bread to feed the starving family, and they lose their alignment of lawful good. They can no longer use the sword. You can put other restrictions in there. There's some items in this game which have alignment restrictions. I've seen it in other games of D&D where items can have alignment restrictions. And to a certain extent, if you wanted to go down the route of initial judgment based off reputation, is sometimes it's worthwhile, if a party rolls into town and starts being, and they're an evil party or a good party or a chaotic party, maybe, for example, the lawful and the chaotic, let's not go good and evil. Lawful and chaotic, they're a lawful party, they stroll into town, the guards just let them pass by. When the chaotic party rolls into town, the guards take notice and have them followed maybe while they're in town, see who's talking to who, what happens, and that kind of thing. And, the alignment is basically the character's initial first impression response when it comes to different personalities. If they're a good party and they come across an evil tyrant of a king, then maybe the tyrant is like, you know what, I'm going to have you thrown in jail because you're the good guys. It becomes very difficult in D&D these days because they've done so much to step away from it. That you do actually start having to make up and bring back into it mechanics. Detect good and evil is now just one spell. It used to be a spell of you would basically get a detect. You could either prepare a spell that detects a specific alignment, or you could cast a spell of detect alignment and choose to find out what somebody's alignment was. That allows you an under-the-table way of basically determining where the party stand according to the NPCs. That allowed you to drive narrative in a certain path. Nowadays, Detect Good and Evil doesn't actually detect alignment at all. It detects characteristics of creatures, whether they're devils, demons, celestials, fae, fiend, undead. And then the players get to know that bit of information. So, you know, casting that on another person just gives you nothing. You have to roll an insight. It's an opposed check against their persuasion. And, you know, very rarely does a player go, is this guy actually a good guy? Roll on the sense motive and get that bit of information. But it is a perfectly valid question for the players to ask. You know, do I get the sense that this guy is a good guy? Do I get the sense this guy is a bad guy? They choose not to do it. But you as a GM can, you know, again with the guards at the gate, pay attention to the criminals, let the lawful people just pass on by. But if you start going down that route, then you do need to keep the group's overall alignment in check. Yeah, it's not use. It can be disruptive to a table, and it's not one that is very useful in a lot of cases. That being said, I would love to run Strahd with evil restricted alignment players. Time for a new leader in Barovia. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. It's all like, you know, you can... The alignment structure to a certain degree does allow GMs to put in very easy, sort of like, you know, I'm playing in a tabletop game called Extinction Curse, where you're all members of the circus. The player's handbook on that generally recommends that you don't play with lawful characters because it might cause some friction. Likewise, there's the Agents of Edgewater adventure path that I'm currently reading through for no particular reason, where you play members of the guard, where it's all like, you generally should be lawful. You could stray into neutral, but being chaotic is going to cause too much friction at the table. And so, you know, it gives your characters guidelines as to what their mentality is. But after character creation, the whole alignment thing can just be... my thoughts are most bad people don't think of themselves as evil, so also do good things. Most people are lawful most of the time, but an extreme situation can easily change that. I can't see people being fixed alignments. Yeah, more often than not, you won't do... You know, being a chaotic good character is actually one of the more difficult things to portray than a lawful good character. A lawful good character, you can always turn around and say, what's a lawful thing to do in this situation that generates the most good? So, you know, you walk into a town with an evil tyrant, and it's like, this man has to be deposed. How do you do that lawfully? Can be tricky. But if you're chaotic, then you're free to do whatever you want. But at the same token, a chaotic good character in a good settlement with no issues whatsoever, it's like, I go about my business and don't disrupt the status quo because I'm a good guy. And it's like, so you're now shifting more towards good. I do think, you know, you're really wanting to only really delve into it when it's the most extreme of circumstances. I mean, computer games or video games are a bit of a benefit for that, because I could probably say lawful evil response right now and go over to that alignment chart in my character sheet and see that it's barely shifted at all, because it's an accumulation up of actions that's shifting it around. When it comes to a tabletop, the GM has got 6 million things going on around them. And so keeping a mental note of where everybody's alignment is and where it's drifting to is very difficult. And yeah, like J Station pointed out, it's after character, or, you know, it's not that useful. And in some cases, it's not that fun to run. You know, you can be an extremely lawful good paladin, but then come across a situation that you don't like, for example, the slavery, and decide to disrupt it. The only way that you can do so, you can't figure out how to do it legally, so you've got to take that step down the chaotic route. In the old versions of D&D, where it mattered for your alignment and your paladin levels, you would then become a fallen paladin. You lose all of your abilities as a paladin. You've not gone full anti-paladin to get those abilities, so you're now much worse off than if you'd have just played a fighter. And that's when it could, you know, get disruptive around the table. And it's like, well, it's not really unlawful to break up a slavery gang. And it's like, but it is, because it's legal here. Yeah, but not where I'm from, and not from my point of view, blah, blah, blah. It gets messy. So a lot of the times, GMs don't pay attention to it, but it's useful as a guiding point when character creation is happening. And if you wanted to play that alignments are a significant thing, then, you know, make sure that you're willing to put in the effort to track it. It's also a useful thing if you go planeswalking in the D&D setting, because there are planes where it's a lawful neutral plane. And so if you're not a lawful neutral character, there are mechanical effects as to what happens to you. And likewise with all of the other planes. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts. When it comes to tabletops, it's one of them. It's all like, how much attention do you want to pay towards a given mechanic? None at all? That's fine. Anyway, back to this problem. Your actions in Teleax do not concern me, but while you are on my land, I demand you refrain from such extreme measures. I will try to fulfill your request. She gives a little grin. At least, we'll let you know before we decide to burn someone. For a moment, Liniax stares at you with an intense look, but then blinks as if suddenly relaxed. We stand on the side of legitimate authority. You need not be afraid, King. I authorize you to conduct your investigation within my kingdom. Thank you, King. Your goodwill means a lot to us. Who are you? I don't know. Ragnar. Ragnar has a strange look in his eyes, and his speech is confused. Ah, well, how you doing? Your chieftainess? You know, I've seen a miracle. Gorham himself honored one of my commanders with a gift. He turns pathetic weaklings into fierce spawns of the abyss, able to defeat anyone with his bare hands. You know how? Potions, he says. He got the fighters drunk, and they're not what you call fighters. All he's got is weaklings in his squad. But they all went like they were battle crazy, fighting anyone who steps in their way. Pure gold. That's what this potion is. I've been thinking, let's make our fighters take these potions. Then you'll have an army of real cutthroats. They won't care about death, pain, fear, or really any feelings at all. They'll kill without hesitation, burn villagers to the ground without a second thought. What do you say? I say no. No. That's an interesting thing. I must immediately prohibit this homemade booze amongst our soldiers and arrest anyone who brew it. We need fighters, not drunken murderers. Yet the military goes up? Provide my soldiers with weapons and ask them to kill. How do they do it if there is their business? I won't make anyone drink the potion, but I'm not prohibiting the potions either. Alchemical homebrew increases military by 1 for each achieved triumph and reduces military by 1 for each achieved disaster. I like the idea of these potions. Let every soldier drink them if they really help. Whatever they lack in power, they'll make up with this magic. Alchemical additive increases military for 1 for reduces, but we get a +2 in the arcane. What's the potion's effects? Is it dangerous? Rengongar's eyes grow dead. The half-orc looks away from you. The quietest time is just before the thunderstorm, and then drip, drop, plip, plop. And then it bursts and flashes. Your soul groans and wheezes, and the wind howls and the thunder strikes. Rengar licks his dry lips. He seems unaware of the electricity arcing between his fingers. And you are the storm. No one can stop you. That's how it works. I tried it. I know what I'm talking about. You must immediately prohibit this homemade booze amongst our soldiers and arrest anyone who brews it. We need fighters, not drunken murderers. Do you realize how lucky you are? An army like this can conquer all of the stolen lands. They're really, finally real soldiers. You've got only one destination to the other world, and in the prime of their lives. May everyone... What? They've got only one destination to the other world, and in the prime of their lives, may every one of them cut your path with their blood. May this path lead to something really great. That doesn't make sense. I think Rengar is crazy. Like, completely off his rocker. Bad news. We've heard that visitors have lately been spreading unfavorable rumors about your kingdom. It's as if the Dumwana barony is a stronghold of barbarianism and feeble-mindedness, where people of art are rare and endangered. Our artists are alleged by the rumors to be considered our least valued citizens. Such rumors can't but affect our reputation. I'm afraid you'll have to entrust one of your advisors with this matter. An antique vendor told me of the Order of Prisms has been spreading nasty rumors. They're one of the branches of Shaylin's church. Here's what I've been thinking. A couple of weeks ago, I saw Valerie tear up some letter. She got so terribly angry. Just like when she was back... Just like she was back when her former mentor came for her. Anyway, I didn't ask her about it. That would be more trouble than it's worth. But you'll probably be able to find out what happened and if this is any connection to Shaylin. I mean, I kind of agree with the Order of the Rack, but not too that much. Greetings, Your Highness. Here, I brought you something. The Rogue's Champion. Okay. Thank you. I hope to see more of your mastery in the future. The elf, the half-elf blushes and bows hurriedly. I got new things. It's not bad. But it's not great either. And Dragonscale Hearthplate. Dragonscale Plate. AC goes up by 1. Acid resistance is up by 30. And... see, it's that adamantine where it's like, it's so bleeding useful. You know, especially seeing as though it's like, does the crown give any mechanical bonuses? It does, annoyingly. They're not great for my character. The royal headdress grants the wearer a +6 enhancement bonus to charisma, intelligence, and wisdom, and a +2 resistance bonus to saving throws against compulsion effects. Which does absolutely nothing for me. You know, especially the stag helm, +1 insight bonus to attack rolls against flat-footed and flanked targets. As I'm a rogue, most of my targets I prefer to keep flat-footed and flanked. But at the same token, it's like, if there's part of me where it's like I want to keep this thematical, where it's like I'm the king, I wear the crown. I could take the crown off. I could even sell the crown if I wanted. I'm not going to sell the crown, but at the same token, it's like it's brought my intelligence, wisdom, and charisma up to 18, 16, and 20. It doesn't do anything for me. I mean, it does a little bit on my character sheet in terms of skills. When I can find skills, you know, my persuasion is now up to, you know, a +5 bonus from my charisma, where it used to be a +2. I'm now the most persuasive person in the group. But at the same token, it's like I could easily just put this crown on Lindsay, who's currently only got a +4 alluring charisma, and give her intelligence and wisdom. I could put this on Tristan and bump his wisdom and charisma up. I could put it on Valerie for no good reason other than to make her queen. I could put it on Amory just for the laugh of having an intelligent, wise, charismatic barbarian who's only just got +2 in wisdom. If Paizo were nice, the item is because of a bunch of wisdom and compulsion checks coming up. So yeah, I don't really want to give the crown to somebody else, but at the same token, it's like, maybe I want the crown? Maybe I want to use the stag helmet rather than the crown? It would have been nice if they'd give it, I mentioned this before at the top of the stream, but it's like, it would have been nice if there was some way that they could have made it that you had a choice of crowns. And that way it would have felt more like it suited you. Yeah, there is a chance that Paizo are going to come up with a bunch of will saves, but even then it's like my will is terrible. You know, it's +9 because of the wisdom being a +3, a ring of security giving me a +2, my class bonus is a 4. It's currently a 9. Even with the crown, it only makes it an 11 will save. Whereas the reflex is 17. The fortitude is 10. So, you know, it's a bit of a disappointment. That's true. Many classes, 1 crown. Yeah. I think to a certain degree, it's mainly because it's like I'm trying to play this as a role-playing game. I have been crowned king, therefore I'm the king, and I wear the crown. If I was playing this tactically, I'd probably end up giving the crown to Octavia or Lindsay just to boost up their stats and be damned with the, you know, +2 bonus to compulsion effects. Because one of the things is if Lindsay gets controlled by the enemy, they can do all sorts. If I'm still in control of Lindsay, then I can use her different bardic songs to give everybody a better +2 there against the compulsion. She's also got spells, which could include break enchantment, which would break any compulsion that happens to everybody else. Therefore, tactically, it's better to give it to Lindsay. Or Octavia, or Tristan. One of the three. But because I'm playing it thematically, I'm wearing the crown. It's completely pointless. But I don't think the +1 bonus to insight is going to make too much of a difference. Right. What is... Oh, that's actually the plot deal with the devil. Talk to Valerie about the strange letter. Valerie, are you in here? There you are. I hear you received an unpleasant letter lately. Let me guess, from Lindsay, right? She keeps poking her nose in other people's business. Valerie lowers her head sadly. Forgive me, Chiron. I was hoping I'd manage this without your help this time, which is why I didn't tell you. A while ago, I received a letter from a new temple of Shaylin on the outskirts of Patax, from a paladin of the Order of Prisms. This time, they're not demanding I return to the Order. Instead, they want me to go there and submit to a great divine trial, an answer for my transgressions in front of Shaylin's worthy servants. Of course, I tore up the letter and tried to forget about it, but now they've begun to plot against the entire kingdom. I was hoping that I could just ignore them this time too, but it seems I shall have to meet these stubborn fools face to face and explain to them what their tricks might lead to. Why is it you never just talk to me? I have to pry everything out of you. Please accept my humble apologies. Every time I encounter a problem, I think it's within my power to handle it on my own, and I cannot keep distracting you from running your kingdom. But time and again, I find I must rely on my friends. I promise I will not keep anything back from you again. Let's go there together and let's get to the bottom of this. Thank you. I'm ready to go to the Temple of Prisms as soon as you have time. Thank you for the conversation. As you wish. Oh, we're off to see the temple. The stupid Temple of Shaylin. I think this is one of the more aggravating things about this game. Is that, like, the Shaylin temple is so... They're supposed to be the good guys, or one of the good guys, in beauty and craft and the rest of it. But the way that they've been portrayed in this game is so like, oh my god, they're such a pain in the arse. I'm slamming the mouse button because I'm frustrated. The title of the game lied to me as well. I said this before, but I'll say it again. The game is called Pathfinder Kingmaker. I'm king now. The game should be over. But no, it's Pathfinder Kingmaker and then screw you over a little bit more, because why not? Not until you make another king. I mean, I'm pretty sure Valerie could be persuaded. And then you are the Kingmaker. Maybe I shouldn't have let them... anyway. I need to clean Glenniborn at some point. But first, let's go off and deal with Valerie's latest problem. Oh, we're off to see Patax. The wonderful Patax of Patax. I need to go exploring in my own kingdom at some point. There is so much to do in this game. We have... oh, no, there's a... okay. God, it's all the way over there. What else is in my journal? Keep going, I didn't tell you to stop, I was just looking at my journal. You spotted peaceful travelers approach, and it's a skeleton trying to sell you things. Show me your wares. These look new. Axiomatic flaming falchion +2. An axiomatic weapon is infused with lawful power. It makes the weapon law aligned and bypasses the corresponding damage reduction. It deals an extra 2d6 against chaotic creatures. Frost Holy two-handed sword. Two-bladed sword, sorry. It is two-handed, but it's two-bladed as well. Corrosive punching dagger. See, going back to my original thing, that dagger is actually more powerful than the two daggers that I've currently got. Especially if I'd have stuck with the punching daggers and got them keen. How many encounters am I on now? I think this is 85 or something like this. This is the first time I've actually moved around the map so far this game. Necrotic Vicious Sigh, Necrotic Shock Foreshard. Thundering Darts, Tower Shield of Elemental Protection. Mine's better. Headband of Mental Perfection +4. That's an interesting thing to have. Greater Maximize Metamagic Rod. Greater Reach Metamagic Rod. Wow, look at the cost of that one. Could afford it. I'm not going to buy it though. Bum bum bum. Full plate of greater sonic resistance. Hide armor. Chain shirt of life. Alright, I think I'll just buy those. Anything with a choice you can't actually scribe. Oh, I didn't realise it had a choice. I think I've done this. No. I think I'm caught up on them.
In due time.
Right. How many encounters has it been? It has been... Please tell me this counted. It's not flashed up. I mean, it's not really an encounter that much. Yeah, it doesn't count apparently. I did not know that. More stuff going on in the kingdom. And the border guard's finished. Yay. The warden needs your advice. Go to the throne room. Maybe the warden could come find me on the road. Because I'm not going back to the throne room right now. Screw you guys, you can't make me. I'm king of the place. Right, now we'll find out how many encounters it'll be. It's been... Oh, that doesn't look pretty. What are we looking at? Druid 10. Smillion is... doesn't actually have a number. It's got 1 hit point. These are very curious barbarians. Sing us a song, Lindsay. Step forward a bit. And shoot that guy. I'm surrounded. Really? See, why didn't I get my bites in there? Oh, these guys are problematic. Could you stop mauling me? That would be appreciated. God damn it, that's a wide lightning bolt. But at the same token... God damn it, Tristan, you're in the way. God damn it, Tristan, you're in the way and you can suck it up. Hiya! And the only person who failed is Tristan. Yay! I just did damage to myself and nothing else. Yeah, no worries. I can feel the Wrath Animal Companions getting level up feats and abilities to quick gear. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I've not really messed around with animal companions in this. Welcome back, Cap. No worries about being late. I mean, it's one of them. So you've got things to do. Go off and do them. There we go. Fireball into the mists. Why are these things not dead yet? That is a problem. Because I don't have any hit points left. Maybe I should have thought about that one.
Down.
Before fireballing the area. Yay, we killed one thing. Okay, do me a favor. And we're going to drink some very expensive potions. Maybe. Is that the best that I got? I'm guessing it used the move action up to do things. Yes, keep missing, keep missing. If you three could just fall in that hole, that would be so useful. Yay, more bad guys! And it just derped. I can't actually turn on... Oh no, I can turn on and off turn-based mode. Mucked around with everybody's initiatives, but oh well. Alright, Lindsay, could you just... heal Chiron a little. When I said a little, you didn't have to make it the smallest amount possible. What was that? Cure Series, 3d8, plus 1 per level. I think I'm just gonna like a... What are we? Character sheet. 13. I got a 12 on 3d8. Amory is not in a happy place. Something else just fell into the pit.
them apart!
I fell into the pit, you fell into the pit, we all fell into the pit. Nope, don't get the reference.
Left yourself open.
Okay, great. Oh, god damn it. It's from the pit song I've sent you several dozen times. Possibly. I should probably look into these things. You need to send it to me when I'm not tired and have just finished streaming.
This is for you.
I'm just terrible at looking up these things. That's just rude. Tristan ever done to you? Let's try. No, probably a bad idea. These barbarians seem to be very strongly willed, or the last one was.
Serves you right.
I need you to die. Because you're kind of hitting my priest. And I kind of need him alive.
I didn't even break a sweat.
I know you were sweating before. You definitely were sweating before. It's long enough, so I'll get that one as well. God damn it. It really is breaking when they can't complete a full attack. Something else fell into the pit. Nope, it's breaking when anything dies. Yeah, so when it's not turn-based mode, everything is, like you say, chaos, with everything happening simultaneously. Which means that, you know, moving around is a pain in the arse. Everybody is doing something all at the same time. I've played games similar to it before, like Baldur's Gate. The only way that I was able to really play Baldur's Gate was, so like, you can turn auto pause on so that every round it pauses. And everything that at some point something happens, then it pauses. Like the enemy dies, a character dies, a weapon breaks, a weapon runs out of ammo, and that kind of thing. But it is just far too much chaos. The other thing is, it's very disruptive because it's like you're constantly doing something and then putting it on pause while you figure out what's the next set of things to be doing. It's a little bit by playing it turn-based, by just continually pausing it and unpausing it. But I don't like playing that way because it's just very disruptive to how it feels when by playing it turn-based it feels like it's supposed to be very slow and methodical.
I'll fight if I have to.
I wonder what these guys' AC is. Cannot be great. 14.
Any last wishes?
Right. Taking it off turn base so the pit can do its thing. So this is real time, so it's like, you know, it's not too bad for the individuals. And like Josh is watching and said, you know, it's like sometimes it's for simple fights potentially like this one where it's like it's just easier to tell everybody to then focus on a single target. I switched to non-turn-based play for the remake of FF17, and it was a fair bit of a deal with management-wise in the head of, I'm guessing you mean Heat of Combat, and that's with only 3 characters control. Yeah, there's various ways that it's been done, and it's been done better in some. I remember playing a JRPG, don't ask me which one, cannot remember, where it had a simultaneous turn-based system. So if you took an action which was a long duration action, you know, you were waiting for this bar to fill up. And if you did a quick action, a bar would fill up fairly quickly. If you did a long action, the bar would fill up again fairly slowly. And by doing that, it made it a lot more manageable, and to a certain degree you kind of got into the rhythm and flow of it. But at the same token, you know, if the bad guy did something that just threw you for a loop, you were then scrambling to try and change people's next thing to do, to say, like, who's the healer again? Oh yeah, that's it. And, yeah, it's not a bad system, and I quite like it, especially, you know, it helps keep up the pace, it helps keep focus without being overwhelming. But yeah, once you get into the flow of it, it can really help.
I need to catch my breath.
And like I say, it's a happy medium, in my opinion, between... yeah, I can't gather that stuff, so I'll camouflage, and you maintain your weapons. Armor.
Valerie, why are you so mean? There's got to be something in this world that you like.
I like it when you stay silent. If there's anything beautiful in this world, it's silence.
Brutality. If you're not expecting to expend any resources, and just to tell you, might as well play real time in some situations. Yeah, I mean, again, that's one of them where it's like, if you know, my problem with real time to a certain degree is just so like, okay, I want somebody to move around and help Tristan, and then the turn is over, and for some reason everybody gets an attack of opportunity against me trying to move somebody into a location to help Tristan. And I forgot to give the encounter number count. I kind of prefer to just leave it in turn-based so I don't get that whole thing. Although, you know what? Let's save it before I screw something up, because, you know, watch this screw up on me. Taking it off turn-based, and we're attacking the goblins. Why did that just pause? I don't know. Shoot. People are taking out Tristan. Do I have somebody? Yeah, I have somebody. Okay, go over there and antagonize them. And there we go. That encounter just happened a lot quicker than if I'd have stuck to turn-based. But it was a lot less controlled than I would have liked. And to a certain degree, it was like Tristan started getting hit out of nowhere, and it was like, how to react to this, and it took me far too long to get Anne-Marie over there. Where it's like, you know, if it had been turn-based, it was like, okay, who in these three people are most likely to be able to charge straight across the battlefield? It comes up to them. I then click on the charge. I see if I can charge across the battlefield. Oh wait, I can't. What other resources do I have for getting around? Turn-based allows me to play it more tactically, and I kind of appreciate that. And why is it not giving me a counter? I just like to try and replicate it at the table, and just everyone's rolling dice at the same time and yelling about damage taken, damage dealt out. I mean, it would probably be slightly better if you actually had poker chips for health. And so I roll my attack. I shout out that it's a high number. I assume it hits. I roll out my damage. I lean over to take over those poker chips, and you as a GM. I think it would just be chaos, absolute chaos on behalf of the GM though. Because it's like, I've got 6 goblins, roll all these d20, and it's like, that one tries to hit you. No, it's just chaos. There are some things that I would like to try out at a table, but it's requiring the right group. Oh, hello. In my head, it's basically stock exchange changing floor in the mid-80s. See, I mean, this is supposed to be a temple to Shaylin, and I'm not rating it right now. Laren, the High Priest of Shaylin, the white-haired priest, looks at you over his glasses. Look who's here, King Chiron, my respects, and I see you've brought company. Finally, for the woman balancing on the edge of excommunication, you are sluggish, Valerie. Valerie slowly turns her head towards the paladin and gives him an icy look. I'm never in a hurry to meet those who would seek petty revenge upon the innocents of another alleged transgression. Please be calm, everybody, and let's not hurry in with accusations and hasty decisions. In the end, we're in a sacred place. Arguments under this vaulting are unacceptable. It's a thing. You've got me thinking now. I should know this one off the top of my head. Nope, that did not give me... It's a songbird. It's just simply referred to as a songbird. Who are you? My name is Larian. I'm a priest of Shaylin and the leader of a local congregation. For now, at least, until my place is taken by a permanent priest from the Order of Prisms. For now, I am the spiritual advisor and mentor to the respected Hegand and his people, paladins of Shaelin who require the advice of more experienced devotees. What is this place? The Temple of the Lenses is a new abbey for one of the orders of Shaelin. The priest looks up at the vaulting in admiration. A beautiful architectural masterpiece, isn't it? Such a sophisticated building will make a splendid home for the Order of Prisms. Which of you is behind the dirty rumours about my kingdom? We say the truth, and you call it a dirty rumour. We are protectors of Shaelin, and all who call her patron. It is ridiculous to hear the charge of slander from one who has befriended a viper. Your friend blackens the name of the goddess herself. I will pass unremarked the vaguely veiled insults. In the end, I have the doubtful honour of talking to a coward who can only throw around empty words and ungrounded accusations. You're too spineless to meet me face to face and make your claims in person, which is why you prefer to strike on the sly. Calm down, please. Although I do not approve of the methods of respected Hegrend, I will not tolerate jokes at the expense of a paladin of Shaelin in her very temple. You enjoy mocking Valerie and the king? Why are so many hypocrites amongst the followers of supposedly kind gods? Yeah, I mean, this Hergend is... this entire church has been doing my head in since the beginning of the game. You know, Octavia has pretty much summed it up. It's like, are you enjoying mocking Valerie and the king? Why are there so many hypocrites among the followers of supposedly kind gods? I see there's a whole company here. Evelyn bows in a refined manner. My respects, King. I came to the special invitation of Sir Hegand. How could I refuse a paladin of my beloved patron? My respects to you, and you, Valerie. I heard about what happened to you, but seeing it with my own eyes is unbearable. Believe me, I never wanted this. To be honest, I don't even remember striking the blow. A wrinkle on Valerie's forehead softens. We settled our argument in battle, Ferendo. As for the scar, I've been wearing my wound for a long time. I don't have the slightest desire to meddle in affairs of Shaelin and her followers. I demand only the one thing. Stop slandering me and my subjects. As long as Valerie is in your lands, no creator who crosses into your borders can feel safe. We heard how much she despises everyone who is capable of creating anything beautiful, and we're not going to keep silent about it. Of course, she could repent for her transgressions voluntarily and beg the goddess for mercy. For my transgressions, Shaelin has to answer to me for ruining my life for so long. Heretic! It seems there is no other hope for this soul so deeply blackened by pride than divine trial. Shaelin's judgments shall cleanse you of at least part of this abomination. I want to murder everybody who's not in my party within this room. Valerie clenches her fist in silence. It seems the scar on her face darkens and deepens. What trial are you talking about? A divine trial, a special ritual carried out by followers of a god for someone who has lapsed in their faith. It is not well known, but it is used for those whom there is still hope for returning to the church, or at least making peace. Making peace indeed. Valerie, who rejected my lady, should not count on being coddled. What exactly is Valerie accused of? Of persistent disrespect and insolence towards Shaylin's order and the goddess herself. The Order of the Eternal Rose disowned this woman, but we, the Order of Prisms, will finish what was started. If Valerie refuses to repent, she shall suffer punishment. If Shaylin's newest order appears each time another one stops persecuting me, my disrespect for your goddess will only grow. You are creating the very thing that you so diligently fight, but are incapable of understanding this. It's up to you, Valerie. Valerie is silent for a few moments and then scoffs loudly. I'm not going to participate in this trial. I'm sick of your ridiculous goddess. This is the last straw. I will wash away this insult with blood.
I need inspiration.
Well, now I get my wish to murder everybody in the room. God damn it, why did everybody roll so poorly on initiative? Interesting, not everybody here seems to have turned against me. Why are they not going after Valerie? Time for murder. God damn it. Oh, this ends here. Because he just exploded. Suppose I'll get blamed for this as well. We should stop using the maximize meta magic rod on fucking bless and things that don't maximize. I need to get you a quickening rod at some point. Road. Even ruder. Lindsay, let's have a haste. They won't a little thing. They won't let a little thing like narrative get in the way of targeting the PC. They're not even targeting the PC. They're targeting Amory for some reason. I should have raged. Now you're raging. Yes, yes, divine favor, blah blah blah. What do I have? What do I have? Well, that's a terrible idea. I love it. You're not injured, you're not injured, you're not injured. Oh, now you're dead. Oh, there's more of them. Did not see that guy. Right, if we could just murder you, and then murder you, because you're in range. Much appreciated. Oh yeah, there's this guy over here. Totally forgot about him. See, this is one of the things I like about Pathfinder. You can do things like this where it's multiple summons because you're not actually concentrating on anything. Sing us the song, Lindsay. Ooh, choices. There's somebody else over there.
You can't stop me.
Training pays off.
I need to go murder somebody over here, apparently. Wow, there's a lot of you over here. I don't know how to feel about concentration in this only seems to affect the spell going off and when receiving an attack of opportunity. Yeah, that's how it is in so the difference between D&D, I don't know if you're aware, is in D&D, if you're maintaining a spell, then you're concentrating on it. And while concentrating on a spell, you cannot cast a spell that also requires concentration. You can only concentrate on one thing at a time. There's certain things that you can do to muck around with this, but for the most part, general rule of thumb, you can only concentrate on one thing at once. In Pathfinder, the concentration is like you have to concentrate on casting the spell. Once you've concentrated on casting the spell, that's it. Oh yeah, you also can make concentration checks when you take damage of like. Oh good. The thing died.
Consider me provoked.
So if you can get a spellcaster who has got lots of summons out of the way and protected by things, they can summon a lot of things to sort of like start coming in and ultimately laying waste to the bad guy, because Valerie's panting and wiping sweat from her forehead. This is it. Finally. It's a waste of time. I've had enough. Not a single concession, not a single word about Shaylin. Let them pray to their goddess on their bellies if she's so precious to them. I'm pretty sure they're dead. Let's go. This place makes me want to scrub clean. Interesting that it's classing it as a failure. For example, if you are being held 30 foot above a pit by telekinesis, maybe you shouldn't cast Eldritch Blast at the same thing casting telekinesis, as it may fail its concentration check, as one of my players recently learnt. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the factors. The other factor where it's like it's annoying in D&D is like there's only so much you as a spellcaster can do, as especially when compared to previous systems. So Pathfinder, at the tabletop, you've got spells like Fly, and Invisibility, and Summon Creatures. All three of them in D&D are concentration off the top of my head, don't quote me on that. But it basically means you can either fly across the battlefield, be invisible on the battlefield, or summon creatures onto the battlefield. In Pathfinder, you can do all three, so you can be basically flying around the battlefield with improved invisibility, shooting down lightning bolts and fireballs and summoning all kinds of creatures. And, you know, it just makes being a spellcaster that bit much more epic. The only problem is it does tend to lead to a very swingy situation. I'm annoyed that it's marked as a failure, but failure it shall be.
That is not far.
I am curious as to see what happened the other way. Yay, restocking on potions. Oh, there's another priest over here. So yeah, because you can do so much when it comes to D&D, or Pathfinder and 3rd edition D&D, is it very much meant, you know, as a spellcaster, you became very powerful at later levels because you have access to all of these spells and all of these abilities. And, you know, as long as you use them effectively, you can be absolutely devastating on a battlefield where the fighter is very much sort of like, I run up and I hit it. You can do some fancy things when trying to hit them, but at the end of the day, you're still just running up and hitting things. So they tried to balance out the playing field when it came to 5th edition. You know, concentration only allows you to have one epic spell on the go at a time. It takes a fair bit to have more than one epic thing on the go. I'm turning around and walking away. I can't be arsed dealing with this. But at the same token, it now means that, you know, the fighter who can do 3-4 attacks around, I think 4 at level 20, is comparable to the wizard who can, you know, lay out a massive fireball once in a while. Or, you know, some spell with concentration.
Respite?
Sir Tristram. Sounds like the name of a knight in a ballad.
Thank you, Valerie. But I could hardly be a knight. I don't like fighting, and even less do I like fighting for sport.
It's actually something I want to do. I'm going to find out. I don't usually do this because at the end of the day, I like to play the story out naturally. But I actually want to see what happens if I submit Valerie to this divine trial. It's one of them where it's like, this is the only character there. I'm very genuinely interested to see how their story plays out. Blah 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 blah. Maybe this trial will bring you peace. Valerie keeps silent for a few moments and then takes a deep breath. Very well, I will endure this trial if it helps put an end to all of this. Thank you for agreeing, Valerie. Let's begin. Shaylin's divine trial has commenced. May she be merciful to the lost and confused. It is time to listen to all sides and decide what fate awaits Valerie. Today, under the vaulting halls of Temple of Prisms, we, followers of the Goddess, will give you, Valerie, a chance to redeem yourself in the eyes of Shaylin, and... Enough, Lauren. Everybody present knows she doesn't deserve redemption. She lost the right for forgiveness the day she rejected Shaylin's grace. Fethero Sinet clears his throat to attract everyone's attention. I didn't come here to stand silent like an idol. When I challenged Valerie to a duel, she agreed. We fought according to all rules, and our argument was settled. Think what you will of Valerie, but at least she showed me some respect. I don't care about you, let alone respect you. I just wanted to teach you a lesson and make you leave me alone. And yet Valerie observed all rules. She came when Threro called her. She accepted the challenge. Will none of this be taken into consideration? Of course, you can't ignore a person's deeds, even when their words are bitter. Enough about Threro. We don't have much time, and Valerie gives us much consideration. According to the Masters of the Order of the Eternal Roles, she's always been noble and merciful. Stories about the valor she showed in Brevinus spread far beyond its borders. How many did this fearless warrior save from the fires at Jamandi Aldori's house? They and many others owe their lives to her. Oh, don't ascribe mercy to my actions, and don't drag Shaylin into this. I obeyed an order, that's all. Lie. I don't agree with Valerie. She can be harsh, but her heart is overfilled with pain and bitterness. Judge her actions, not her words. Valerie opens her mouth, but sighs and lowers her head without saying anything. Of course, King, we are judging Valerie only by her actions. Enough, I'm tired of this endless babble. I shall prove that Valerie is a capacious and dishonorable woman who has twisted her life to pursue a single goal, to harm everything that is precious to Shaylin. There is an undeniable truth we know, and as to the victims of attack, I want to say that... Oh, I'm sorry, go on, Hagend. I have a reliable witness who can confirm my statement. I present Sir Evelyn. Evelyn pushes his chest out and pulls his chin up. This lady insulted me in front of my audience for no reason at all, arresting me with brutal force, and the worst part is, when the dust settled and our blood cooled, Valerie didn't even think to apologize for her behavior. I'd say that only confirms her maliciousness. I know you're worried about Valerie, but honestly, this accusation is completely fair, don't you think? What? Lindsay, you betray me. You provoke her, it's your fault, Evelyn. Evelyn. Lara raises a brow and looks at Evelyn over his glasses. Oh? Was this man's art meant to do harm? No, well, possibly, just possibly. I might have drawn some inspiration from certain poetic punishment. Then I cannot accept your statement. Leave this temple. Damn. Valerie raises her head and takes a deep breath, as if awakening from a deep sleep. She looks at the temple's decoration and raises her hand. I've stood here listening to your arguments for long enough. Now it's my turn to speak. My departure from the Order of Eternal Roles was not an insult to Shaylin or her followers. All I wanted was to devote my life to what is important to me. The goddess followers never gave me a single chance to walk my own life's path. Do I value art? No. Am I ready to serve it? No. Do I disrespect those who brought so much trouble to me and the king? No. But there are some of you like me who dream of just one thing, to carry out your chosen duty. Valerie turns to Loren and lowers her head. If all servants of Shaylin were like you, my parting from the Order could have been so much more peaceful. Maybe I don't deserve forgiveness in the eyes of Shaylin. Maybe fanatics like Sir Hagen would be happier to see me in a noose. But I would see now that one shouldn't laugh at one's own way, shouldn't laugh at another's way just because one doesn't understand or share it. But now, speaking openly before you, my conscience is definitely clear, and if you wish to judge me for the fact that my opinion is different from yours... The divine trial is over. Shaylin has made her decision. About what? How? The scar. It's gone. I didn't even notice. Oh, when? I didn't even notice. Hagen, white as a sheet, points at Valerie with trembling hand. But, why? Look at her, my friend. She is proud. But who could expect otherwise from a creature of such amazing beauty? Now, as Shaylin light fills Valerie's soul, the child is filled with renewed radiance. The thorn that pricked has been burned away. The goddess showed Valerie a way to the source of light and beauty. No! Hagen pulls out his weapon, shakes it to the air, rolling his bloodshot eyes. The witch has deceived Shaylin. Only I know the will of my goddess. Death to Valerie! This ends badly for you. Oh my. The priests are on my side, but the paladins are not. Lindsay, we need to move.
This should do it.
I don't know why I always crit him. Love the way it's not like death to Valerie, kill attack everyone other than Valerie. She made a mistake of moving up before Almarie had her turn. Tristan, can you move a little bit out of the way and... Sure, why not? Almarie, rage, and murder that guy. Well done. Bum bum bum. Don't I have something for this? There we go. Where are you off to? Oh, there's more against the priest. That's not nice. So many summoned creatures. They killed one of the priests. I am offended.
Serves you right.
Repent!
Some days Tristan's blindness doesn't really bother him. And other days he just can't hit for Valerie is panting, wiping the sweat from her forehead. This is it. Finally. Valerie turns to Loren and looks at him expectantly. I think it's obvious to everyone here that that bloodshed was always a heavy burden on the shoulders of Shaylin's followers. Forgive them, Valerie. Blind faith clouded their judgment and pushed towards violence, desecrating this holy place. Shaylin's light will not soon return to this vaulting. But we will do everything in our power to wash away this disgrace. On behalf of the Order of the Eternal Rose, I offer you, Valerie, and you, Your Highness, my sincerest apologies. The Order of Prisms is too young and too zealous in their judgments of events and signs. I am sorry that the Paladins of the Order of Prisms chose the path of violence, but it was their decision. It is not our fault. There's nothing else for us to do here. If you don't mind, I'd like to have done with this place. That didn't exactly feel like visiting in the temple of a kind goddess. I hope after this, Shaylin's paladins will think twice before doing harm to your kingdom. Anyway, they're usually much more reserved than those fanatics from the Order of Prisms. Let's go. We can discuss it at the capital. I want to see the end of this place as soon as possible. And then we take it out of turn-based mode.
Pose? I need inspiration.
And everybody just murders this guy.
Let yourself
There we go.
open.
We'll be leaving now.
All according to plan.
I feel slightly better about that ending than the other one where it's like, you failed. So I'm gonna keep it. Was that Tristan who just taunted you left yourself open? I think that is one of his taunts. Should it be one of his taunts? Well, probably not. Am I overburdened? No, I'm still in the light bracket. Carry on. Fight. Oh look, I'm dead. Lindsay sings a song. This probably isn't going to go on very long. The day's pretty much over, I believe. Oh, you're fatigued. God dang it. They are zombie lords, after all. I'm not entirely sure of the lore exactly behind a lot of the zombie variants. But I do know that in D&D terms, some of the zombie lords were actually fairly powerful and retained some of their abilities that they had in life. So if they were battle trained, the zombie lords of the dance with that lineup, then they could just, I want to say naturally, but there's nothing natural about zombies. They would migrate towards taking, you know, the stances that they knew in life, which, if they were battle trained, would be a defensive stance or an offensive stance. Explode! Explode! Oh, none of them exploded. They're not creeping up behind that far yet. Kaboom! So close to killing it.
This didn't work. I must be doing it wrong.
You deserved it.
Ta-da! You mean Learning to word muscle memory. Yeah, I think to a certain degree that is also, you know, sort of like part of it is sort of like muscle memory.
This will hurt.
I don't know, I'd have to go digging into God knows what kind of archives to find out about zombie lords and whatnot. And how much they retained from life. Yeah, speaking of expending resources and, you know, turn-based versus real-time, one of the things that I was doing in some of the dungeons where it's all I knew that it was going to be a long day is using Lindsay's bardic performances, because she has the lingering trait to her abilities. You can turn it off, you know, you can turn it on and it's going, but then you can turn it off straight away and it's going to linger for a couple of turns. 88, that's how many encounters I've survived. I finally remembered to look at it. I had a quick check to see if I'd actually got the achievement, but I couldn't see it. Almost there, yeah.
Resting would be nice.
And then I can start trying to evade them and fail miserably and have to encounter them anyway.
Lindsay, what are you writing so diligently there? And why are you looking at me like that? Did you decide to write me an ode, too?
You got it. Here it is. Listen. There once lived a paladin of Shaylin, whose courage was so unfailing. Hey, hey, that's my ink pot. Don't throw it at me.
That was a terrible ode. Not in my kingdom now. Stop. The Order of Prisms discredits your kingdom. You have dealt with the Order of Prisms and their attempts to slander you. Jafal has news. Oh yeah. My companion, well, one of my companions. What's my journal like? Judgment of Gods. Talk to Valerie at the capital. I'll go on because somebody else wants to see me at the capital. The throne room. Creston. Creston is black as thunder. Your Highness, there's a disaster in the Nile Marches. Suddenly a group of fairies came out of a forest at the edge of the swamps. A vicious tribe fitting their reputation perfectly. Until recently they merely toyed with the locals, pounding on their roofs at night, threw their boots up in the trees. But now they've started spoiling the cattle and trying to lure the people into the woods. We need to put an end to this, Your Highness. We shouldn't just go attack the fairies, of course. They haven't done anything yet that would warrant such a response, but increasing the guard would help. Fairies don't attack for no reason. We've invaded their lands. Help the locals pull up their roots and take them to another area. You know, I'm loyal to you forever, but the people won't like this decision. To be honest, I don't like it either. But an order is an order. Jathal crosses the throne room, her gait determined and confident. But it seems that the Inquisitor has something pressing on her mind. Finally, I have news about the half-blood. I expected him to seek shelter somewhere far from our lands, but no, he was spotted not far away. So who is he? So where is he? Not far from the Valley of Dead. A fitting place for Pharasmite, desperately trying to rid the world of the undead. Such determination might have been an asset in dealing with Vordakai, but I wish to discuss something else. The half-blood was spotted chasing some pauper pilgrim woman. Judging by the things my agent managed to find out, the woman herself may not turn out to be quite interesting. To track down the half-blood, we had to deal with a whole range of scum. Thieves, vagabonds, grave robbers. One of them located in Nero, but they preyed upon the pauper woman. Couldn't miss a chance to rob her blind. In her handbag, the thief found some ominous writings. Thinking the papers were cursed, he decided to rid himself of them by giving them to me. Do you know what they turned out to be? Excerpts from Serving Your Hunger, the sacred text of Urgathoa's followers. I've examined the stolen papers closely, and now I believe that their owner is a high-ranking priestess of Urgathoa. It seems the half-blood persists in his desire to rid the world of all of my goddess's followers. He's skilled at covering his tracks, but now we have a chance to intercept him. Let's go to the Valley of the Dead and find the priestess before he acts. Then, when he comes for her, well, the servants of any deity should be able to stand up for their faith. Is that not so? Fine, as soon as an opportunity arises, we'll visit the Valley of the Dead. Thank you. I want to say this. This is important to me. I've grown tired of drowning in silence, hearing never a word from my goddess. I wish to speak with this priestess and try to discover what Urgathoa might be expecting of me. I want answers. Answers from my murderer, among other things. What would spoiling cattle mean? I don't know, and I'm not entirely sure if I want to know. Chemo bows awkwardly, a broad smile dancing upon his lips. It's ready. I've brought you something. Item received. Whirlwind. Thank you. You can continue your work. You are welcome. Valerie! About what happened at the Temple of Prisms. Please, let me speak first. I wish to thank you and apologize. I'm afraid I've dragged you into a huge amount of trouble. Trust me, I didn't want any of this, and it saddens me that you had to endure. But at the same time, I'm happy I had you at my side through it all. I finally stopped blaming Shaylin for all my troubles and found peace. Not that I suddenly came to love the goddess and her stupid followers. Valerie smiles faintly. But now I understand. If you want others to respect your choices, you must respect theirs, however ridiculous they may seem to you. And of course, I'm ready to return to my duties with you. There are many battles ahead of you, and my responsibility is to protect you from any threat. Valerie bows ceremoniously. Together we can overcome any obstacle. I'm sure of that. Valerie smiles with just a corner of the mouth. Your enthusiasm reminds me of Lindsay. In a good way. I'd like to spend some time alone with you. See, told you, Kingmaker. I'm glad the scar is gone. Valerie touches her face where the scar used to be. At least the world around me has returned to its accustomed place. This morning I found another love note under my door. Valerie chuckles, though I can't say I miss the extra attention. Thank you. We'll continue later, as you wish. Alrighty then. It is 3 hours since the start of the stream. And so it is time for me to bid adieu. I know we achieved a little bit this time. Sorting out Valerie's line, burning some time claiming more kingdom. I think I need to focus on the kingdom a little bit. I'm hoping to get a little bit of time to focus on that before everything starts blowing up again, but one can never know. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Halfsinger Games will be streaming. Yes, she is streaming, so we are going to go raid Halfsinger Games. No, raid here, Singer Games. Just to let you all know, well, let's go back to just talking. There we go. I stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, Pathfinder Kingmaker. So if you're interested in what I've been doing this session, come follow me and you'll get notified when I go live. Tomorrow I will be playing some Hitman 3. Still continuing on with the plot of Hitman 2. I think it's another couple of weeks before there's another elusive target. There's a reasonably good chance that I'll be over on Magcat_'s stream on Saturday evening, playing whatever we get up to. Might be some Phasmophobia. They recently updated that, and I'm curious to see, how that all plays out. We've messed around a little with the new mechanics, but, a proper long session in it could be interesting, but that's still up for debate. And Mondays, I'm back here streaming Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, that's right, 2077. I got an estimate that I'm about 40% of the way through that. So there's still plenty of that to go. For details and times, they're all a little bit all over the place. So if you check my schedule below, or just give us a follow and you'll get notified. All right, with that, we are going to go raid my friend Halfsinger Games, and I wish you all well. Tidy bye.